The chill of the autumn afternoon was broken at Jasper's farmhouse in rural Maine when the arc of his shovel bit into the hard earth. His fingers brushed away compacted soil held captive for decades and revealed an iron ring embedded in a weathered wooden trapdoor, almost invisible beneath tangled grass. The amateur historian's breath caught in his throat as he pried open the hidden entrance, revealing a steep ladder descending into darkness. He descended, his shaking hands gripping the flashlight while every wooden rung groaned beneath him, the air thick with mold and promise of secrets long buried. As Jasper made his way down the shadowy tunnel, his muscles quivered with the unsolicited revelations that assailed his mind. 15 years on this property, and yet this subterranean passage had remained well hidden from him. The design of the tunnel and the strong, safe entrance suggested a nuclear fallout shelter built in secrecy that was unlikely to be explained simplistically. It was a tunnel that didn't really make much sense. A feature of that magnitude would have increased the value of a property. However, it wasn't disclosed in the least. Perhaps the previous homeowner didn't know, or perhaps something more was going on. The possibility of intentional concealment hung in the damp underground air. The door was well and truly solidly built. Even with the thick surface hatch in place, a heavy-duty metal barrier prevented further access, immediate notice being given that entrance would be no easy matter. Jasper's attempts to breach the obstruction were useless without special tools. Then, Monica's worried voice was suddenly calling from upstairs. Monica had returned unexpectedly from work and found something strange in their garden: the digging. Jasper quickly went upstairs to join her, trying to explain the strange discovery he had just made. Monica was shocked too, intrigued with the secret underground structure. While Jasper attempted to break through the tunnel's door, Monica began investigating the house's historical documentation, meticulously stored in the attic. No records mentioned the bunker. Whoever constructed this underground space had managed complete secrecy, perhaps avoiding bureaucratic complexities of obtaining proper permits. Down in the basement, Jasper resumed his tentative search. He whittled at the door, finding a little brand name and unknown marker. A quick search online showed it was a private construction company that hadn't been in operation for almost 10 years. That was a lead worth investigating. He dug through disconnected numbers until he reached a perplexed elderly representative. With deliberate care, Jasper got ready to ask about the mysterious tunnel, weighing each word carefully for the most minimalist impact in seeking enlightenment regarding its origin. Jasper cautiously initiated the conversation, confirming he had the right contact. Jonathan, the former CEO of the now-defunct company, responded with surprising candor. Their business, he explained, specialized in discrete projects for clients seeking absolute confidentiality, a service that came at a substantial premium. The inquisitive natures of Jasper and Monica fueled their archaeological expedition through their home's history. They sifted through dusty archives, property deeds, faded maps, and forgotten correspondences, and their persistence eventually turned a fascinating tale. Their quaint property had once belonged to a reclusive millionaire whose very existence seemed enshrouded in mystery. The millionaire was an eccentric phantom according to local folklore. He was remembered as a figure more talked about than actually seen, whose mere presence gave way to endless speculation. They found an old photograph in the most forgotten corner of the attic, an haunting photograph of the millionaire standing next to a shadowy, indistinct companion. This wasn't merely a photograph, but perhaps a cipher to the mysterious origins of the bunker. It was a contemplation that was quite suddenly ruined by an unexpected visitor. Jonathan himself, it would seem, pulled by some inexorable gravitational pull of unfinished history. His face was weathered from a lifetime navigating the shadow world of confidential construction. Jonathan began to unveil the company's secretive past with measured words. They were specialists in discretion, serving clients for whom secrecy was paramount. His tales spoke of projects commissioned by very high-profile individuals who had every reason to remain under the public radar. Each word, selected with care, insinuated that the bunker was something more than a hole in the ground. It could well be a testimony to someone's desperate need for complete privacy. The instant Jonathan spoke, Jasper and Monica both realized this was more than just a deserted bunker. It was a very personal sanctum. Jonathan suspected it was a well-chosen sanctuary, coming from his wide background of experience which kept intimate memories and important personal artifacts. It was methodical preparation that defined their approach. The team pieced together their equipment with precision, each tool carefully selected for the impending exploration. Anticipation hung in heavy air as they drew closer to the point of entry. The tunnel in front was more than a physical passageway. It was a portal to an untold narrative, one which lurched in suspension between past and present. Going inside, they found that it was more than a survival bunker. Things were preserved well, each with personal history. Everywhere there were traces of an intimate presence of a life lived. Books yellowed with age, clothes with faded colors, pictures breathing life into cold and closed quarters, children's toys with handwritten notes. The transformation of this bleak room into one filled with emotional texture was complete. And as they made their way deeper, these three started to piece together the life of this bunker inhabitant. The selection of the objects strongly suggested a contradictory life, pragmatic and high-lived, cautious yet passionate. Each object was indicative that it was part of a story of long and elaborate preparation and deep personal complexity. From that scant wall came a secret room that would greatly expand their understanding. The secret room revealed the most elaborate preparation against disasters. Shelves so well arranged showed an astonishing display: canned goods, water filtration systems, medical supplies, and an international selection of gold bars and currencies, proof of comprehensive planning against disasters. The degree to which these preparations revealed a highly developed psychological topography in which a rich man was possessed by profound lying terrors. He held the world essentially to be indeterminably capricious and menacing. Curiously enough, aside from a survival tool taken out for functional necessity, the team found an extraordinary array of rare artifacts, antique jewelry, and personal treasures, a fascinating crossroads of collector's passion and survivalist pragmatism. Among the ruins, Jasper, Monica, and Jonathan began to speculate about the motives the millionaire could have had. The bunker was not merely a hideaway, it was an ingeniously devised personal world, cocooned from all outer uncertainties. Here, amidst preserved memories and painstakingly collected items, he has created a completely exclusive world. It wasn't until he revealed personal documents, such as letters, diaries, and intimate effects, that the complex personality behind this accumulation slowly unwound. He did not come out to be an abstract figure of wealth, but one with a very deep nuance. His life story was given to an observer in fragments of his existence, time by time. Beneath the layers of carefully preserved artifacts, a profound narrative of loss and isolation gradually emerged. The millionaire's retreat into solitude was rooted in a devastating personal tragedy. The departure of his wife had fundamentally shattered his world. This pivotal moment transformed him, driving him towards a life of complete withdrawal and intense emotional protection. Every object in the bunker spoke to a painstakingly curated testament of his inner landscape. This was no impulsive underground sanctuary, but one that was carefully pre-planned as a place of refuge. Everything was testament to his frantic, desperate attempt to create an artificial environment, one that was in control against the slings and arrows of the uncontrollable, hurting world. As Jasper, Monica, and Jonathan dug deeper, they unraveled the reasons behind those very decisions by this millionaire. Instead of acts of paranoia, his actions came across as part of an elusive strategy for emotional survival. He was preserving fragments of his life, a personal museum in which he could hide from further vulnerability. The find propelled Jasper and Monica into an elaborate moral maze. Deep questions of ownership, historical preservation, and personal privacy faced them. It was a complex, treacherous ethical landscape that called for careful navigation between legal rights and human compassion. Complex legal issues were imminent. Property rights mixed with potential inheritance claims made for a potentially delicate balance of complications. Relatives could show up from nowhere and contest their claim over the bunker and its very personal contents. There was considerable emotional and legal weight with each decision potentially considered. After much deliberation, Jasper and Monica finally came to a well-thought-out decision. In their behavior, they balanced respect for the millionaire's personal history with their legal rights. They undertook the preservation of the integrity of the bunker, recognizing that it was not just simple real estate but a deep human story that was to be deciphered. They had been changed by their passage through this subterranean world. What had started out as a straightforward tour of discovery had turned into a deep reflection on human frailty, on loss, and on the convoluted ways in which humans create meaning from personal tragedy. They walked on now with an added level of insight, ready to preserve a convoluted legacy they never knew they would receive.